All right, what's up, boys? So this is gonna be a treadmill kind of chat that I'm gonna be doing daily. And the goal of this is, well, basically every morning I do an hour of cardio, and then I kind of publish all my shorts for my other channels, and I kind of just get all my work done while I'm, getting my cardio in, getting my steps in for the day. Now, this channel started off as me kind of, apologies for the breathing, but you gotta multitask, baby. This channel initially started off as kind of me clipping little clips from my streams. Now, for those of you that don't know, I run a TechTube channel, and funny enough, I started off that TechTube channel much the same way and much the same reasoning why I'm starting this channel. I saw that there was a gross, how do I word this? A gross injustice and misinformation meta as to what was going on in gaming and computer hardware, right? Now, for those of you that do know me, I did go through a divorce a couple years back, a few years now, almost 3 years now. And I wasn't aware of like red pill, black pill, whatever kind of pills you want to pill up. But as with every guy after a breakup, we always kind of do research to try and improve ourselves, right? Now, thankfully, I did kind of grow up in the days of RSD and PUA and type stuff, so I used to go out a lot. Like I used to go clubbing a lot. So, and then kind of I got spit out the other end after 10 years, and now there's all this red pill stuff and rational male type stuff. Now, I have been, so for you guys that do know me, you know that one of my mottos in life is test it yourself. And a lot of these creators, I'm finding a lot of the same similarities where when I actually go and test something myself, the information and data that I'm collecting is not the same as what they are saying on YouTube. And I don't know, I feel like it almost feels agenda driven, where they're trying to separate men and women, and I don't know why. And you know what I've actually noticed? Depending on the titling of the videos on this channel, I think because this channel has already been categorized as like dating content, depending on the title, certain videos and shorts will get shadow banned already, which is nuts. So I can already kind of tell that navigating these waters is going to be very tricky and murky. And so it seems like, in my opinion, any content that is designed to benefit men whatsoever seems to be kind of being repressed on a global scale. I don't know why. Now, with that being said, my goal isn't to empower men or whatever. It's just really to portray accurate information on what's really going on out there. And having dealt with a lot of like PC nerds, if you want to, or like very unfortunate men on my gaming tech channel, I feel like I have a very unique perspective on how to help people, right? So anyway, that is why I'm making this channel. Now, after my divorce, my heart rate's getting up to 130. After my divorce, I've been on the dating scene, and again, you're testing all this red pill stuff, I'm testing whatever, and again, I'm like, okay, so some things are accurate, and some things are overblown. Now, the things that, first of all, actually what I want to say is on this channel, we're not going to be doing any kind of victim mindset where that I don't like that kind of shit, right? Anything where it's like women are the devil, you can't fix them hoes, wrong channel. We're not going to do that. All we're going to do is I'm going to try to get you guys to help and understand them better and understand yourselves better, because that's the key here. For some reason, and I don't know why, again, I didn't know this was a thing, but the general creepiness level of men has skyrocketed after the pandemic. The general thirst of men has skyrocketed. Everything has skyrocketed. And that's, maybe this should be called the how to uncreepify yourself channel, right? So what I'm gonna be doing here on this channel then, going forward, maybe every day or every other day, whatever I kind of have time for, I'm gonna hop on the treadmill like I always do. I'm using like NVIDIA Broadcast to kind of blur out my background so you can't see the treadmill, right? You can't see my recording setup for my other channel. And I kind of have a camera up here on like a monitor. Also, apologies if the audio is off. There's no way for me to tell what the audio sounds like until I actually publish the video first and then listen back to it and make adjustments. So like, it might take 3 or 4 videos for the audio to actually end up being decent, right? So, but it is what it is. You have to get started at some point, right? But, so every day, every 2 days or whatever, I'm gonna jump on the treadmill 5 times. I'm just gonna tell you guys stories, experiences, things that I've been testing, things that work, things that don't work. Maybe we'll talk about the general state. I've had like just in this last week I went to CES in Vegas. It's a consumer electronics show, and even just having a week in Vegas, I had so many kind of intersexual dynamic experiences. I got a lot of stories to share with you guys, right? It's just, I find this stuff, I've always found this kind of stuff super fascinating in general, because when I was a kid, I was super obese as a kid, always got picked on and shit. And then when I got to college, like I got my act together a little bit. I lost a bunch of weight after my growth spurt, went to college. Then I started, I got a job at the Pacific National Exhibition here. It's like a roller coaster kind of fair park type thing. I noticed a lot of girls were starting to hit on me back then. And then I was like, I was never that guy, right? Then I got into a relationship with like my high school sweetheart for about 7 years, from like 20 to 27. And then that kind of, it didn't screw over my 20s. You know, it's funny. We'll talk about that in a different video of whether or not a long-term relationship screws you over or not. Maybe we'll do that in the next one now that it's on my mind. But for this video, it screwed over my 20s because I lost 7 years of experience, right? In dealing with the one woman. Now, looking back, she was a virgin when I met her, right? And now, with the knowledge that I know now, that actually was the best opportunity that I had to actually settle down with a wife, because she was a virgin when she met me. Again, we'll save that for another video. But at the end of that relationship, at age 27, I get thrown out into the market again. Kind of like what happened the last few years, right? I get thrown into the market. And then back in the day when I was in high school, college, I'm like, hey, do you want to just go out on a date? And that was the process, right? And it worked fine. You just ask her to go on a date, you take her out to dinner. You guys can already see where this is going. It doesn't really work that way anymore, does it? But it was just simpler back then. No social media, no weird ghosting shit, no dating apps, right? Fast forward 27. By this point, the book, The Game, had already come out, right? It was the most interesting thing because I was actually going to the dentist at the time, And I saw my old high school buddy at the dentist, right? And what had happened is we reconnected, and he was single as well. And he was like, bro, you gotta come out with me to the clubs, right? I'm like, I was never a clubbing guy either, but I'm like, if you do the same thing, you're gonna get the same results, right? So you gotta do something different. So I'm like, sure, why not? So anyway, he invites me over to his place, and it was like, it was like the dungeon of like game, right? It was because looking back, I have such fond memories of that shit. But like the lights were dim. There's like candlelights. It's almost like a fucking cult, right? And then it's like, bro, I gotta tell you about the game. I'm like, what's the game? I'm so ignorant by this point, right? Just got out of a seven-year relationship, right? He's like, bro, what's the game? And then I read the book, I get involved, I follow all of the RSD instructors, and I'm like, okay. I was like, TLDR, the whole thing. Blueprint by RSD Tyler was probably the most life-changing. I honestly, even in my hardware tech channel, I tell every single guy to not do anything but just go watch the Blueprint. Just go pay for it, just go download it, do whatever you gotta do. The Blueprint from Owen Cook will explain to you how every single human-to-human interaction works, down to the deepest level. And I've watched that program maybe like 50 times in my life already, because every time I go back to it, I learn something new. It's incredible. But anyway, because you watch it, you go test things, you come back, and you're like, oh, that's what he meant, right? And there's so many paradigms that you don't understand when you first start watching it. Anyway, I got involved in that. Started going out 2-3 times a week constantly with my boy, right? We're going out. I'll never forget the first makeout that I got within like 10 minutes of entering a bar. It was Halloween, which is awesome. And I was with my other boy, and I literally walked up to her, and I was like, yo, I need you to make out with me right now because I'm on a bet with my boy that I can't make it happen. And the chick did it. And I was like, I think that was kind of like the gateway for me on like, holy shit, this stuff is real, right? This stuff is like, it's legit. So anyway, 27 to 33, about 5 years, 6 years or something like that before I met my ex-wife, like right before the pandemic. It was all game. I was addicted to it. I loved it. I loved going out. And you know what it eventually became? It eventually became, I loved just getting to know people. It wasn't even so much about game anymore. I just wanted to go meet people and listen to their stories because that shit was fascinating, right? Every human has their own unique set of stories that made them who they are. And I got addicted more to that than to pulling. Because then after, man, I'll tell you, when you pull like 10 times, the first like 5 or 6, you're excited. You're like, holy shit, that just happened. But those girls don't just drop off. It's not like a one-night stand. You get to know them after the fact. And then you kind of, it's not like a roster, but you kind of start seeing multiple people. And then you just kind of stop having time to go do more. And then you finally already realize by that point, you're like, it's just not worth the time. And it's like, it's also like, even if you do get laid, it's like you just get laid. Now, I understand that for those of you that aren't in that paradigm yet, even just the goal of getting laid once would be astronomical for you, right? So we're gonna bring it back down in future videos, don't worry. But then I met my ex-wife. I was with her for about 5-6 years, something like that, through the pandemic. I think that was probably the main reason why I didn't get weird during the pandemic, because I had her, right? Whereas most people were isolated and alone, and they went batshit crazy. So anyway, I got spit back out when I was age 37. Now I'm age 40. And the last 3 years, I've been not single, but I've been in situationships, is what the new generation calls it, right? I just do situationships now, and those seem to be the best for a man to get treated the best, right? So anyway, I've got marriage experience, long-term relationship experience, game experience, situationship experience, friends with benefits experience, all that shit. Everything that you can imagine I've done under the sun. Now, what we're gonna be doing going forward, we're gonna cut this video off here, but I'm gonna compare the experiences and the results that I've had. This is for kind of like the newer generation of guys growing up. Experiences that I've had versus what the red pill teaches you, the black pill, the like weird like simpy Matthew Hussey type shit. This channel is gonna be your one-stop shop to real reality land, okay? And that's my goal for this channel. I'm gonna teach you guys the real stuff. I'm not gonna teach you pickup. I'm gonna teach you knowledge so that you can kind of fast forward. You don't have to wait 20 years of all this BS like I had to. You guys have the gift of information now. You guys have the gift of people mentoring you information so you don't have to waste the time. That's gonna be the goal of this channel. Anyway, guys, gonna cut it off there. See, I've already been treadmilling for 45 minutes. It's fantastic. I'm gonna upload the video right now, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, for the next story. Okay, talk to you later.